You both were taking too long, my mother-in-law said with a chuckle, as if it were some kind of joke. What are you talking about? I asked, my voice unsteady. We left, she said smugly, satisfaction dripping from her tone. I froze. We were only gone for a few minutes, I protested, my chest tightening with panic. This is what happens when you don't listen to me, my husband's cold voice cut in. You never should have come on this trip. I clenched my fists. Was this your plan all along? I demanded, my anger bubbling to the surface. And if it was? He replied indifferently, as if it were of no consequence. I stood there, the phone pressed to my ear, my mind racing. My name is Maeve. I've been married to Miles for 6 years, and we have a beautiful 5-year-old daughter, the light of my life. Watching her grow is the most fulfilling thing I've ever experienced, but while I love being her mother, my marriage to Miles has deteriorated beyond repair. When our daughter turned 1, I chose to leave my job to focus on raising her. I assumed Miles would be supportive. Instead, he looked me dead in the eye and said, "If you're not working, then all the housework is your responsibility. Don't expect any help from me." His words stung, but I swallowed my frustration and agreed. From that moment on, I handled everything: cleaning, cooking, and caring for our daughter. The early days were grueling. Sleepless nights, exhaustion, and the constant demands of a newborn left me drained. One night, desperate, I asked Miles if he could help. His response was ice cold. "If you don't like it, we can get divorced anytime." To prove his point, he opened a drawer, pulled out completed divorce papers, and placed them in front of me before tucking them away again. From that moment on, every disagreement ended with the same threat, him waving those papers in my face, his expression full of disgust. Miles' cruelty didn't come from nowhere. His mother, Stella, was the exact same: controlling, critical, and overbearing. She believed she was always right and that everyone should agree with her. One day, she barged into our home uninvited, as she often did, grinning like she had just won a battle. "I have exciting news," she declared, helping herself to my daughter's yogurt without asking. I braced myself. Stella's visits always came with unwanted lectures. After Miles complained about me, she would swoop in to correct me, dictating how a wife should behave. She'd inspect the house, searching for dust, then shake her head in disappointment. Her eyes were always full of judgment, as if she believed I wasn't worthy of her son. So when she said she had good news, I instinctively distrusted her. "Why aren't you excited?" she snapped, irritated by my lack of enthusiasm. "You're so ungrateful. My son is absolutely right about you." I took a steadying breath. "What's the news?" "We're going on a trip," she announced, her smirk widening. I hesitated. "Where to?" She tilted her head, her voice sickeningly sweet. "That's up to you, dear. After all, you're the one who isn't working." Her words were laced with condescension. My stomach churned. "What are you getting at?" I asked cautiously. "You really are slow, aren't you?" she sneered. "It's such a shame. Anyway, I've planned something special for my hardworking son." "A surprise?" I repeated, uneasy. "Exactly," she said, practically glowing with pride. "He deserves to unwind and relieve some stress." The truth hit me like a freight train. She wanted to take Miles on vacation, but she had no intention of paying for it. Instead, she expected me to fund the entire trip for all of us. The thought of spending money we didn't have on a trip I didn't want infuriated me. "Let's make it extravagant," Stella said with fake enthusiasm. I never agreed to this, I said firmly. "I need time to think about it." When Miles got home that evening, his mood was already foul. "I heard you went against my mother today," he snapped. I only told her the truth, I said, though my stomach twisted. "Oh, really? So you're saying we can't take her on a trip?" he demanded, his voice rising. "That's exactly what I'm saying. We can't afford it," I said, standing my ground. Clearly, his mother had wasted no time complaining about me. "If we're struggling financially, that's your fault," he spat. "How can I manage money that isn't there?" I shot back, my frustration boiling over. Miles crossed his arms, his glare sharp. "Are you saying I don't earn enough?" I hesitated. "Well, it's not much." His expression darkened. "Unbelievable. Whatever. I'm going on this trip, no matter what. You'll handle everything: hotels, food, all of it. That's an order. And if you can't, we're getting a divorce." Tears burned behind my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. "Maybe I should just leave now," I muttered under my breath. But then I looked at my daughter, Scarlett. What would she think? How would this affect her? That thought alone stopped me. With no other choice, I arranged the trip. Stella only became more demanding, calling constantly with new requests. I want a room with an open-air bathtub, she insisted, and the meals must be the most luxurious available. I won't settle for anything less. By the time we set out, I was drained. I had rented the car and, naturally, I was the one driving. Miles sat in the passenger seat, scrolling through his phone, while Stella sat in the back, completely ignoring Scarlett's attempts to talk to her. Instead, she rambled about all the souvenirs she wanted. I drove for hours, hands gripping the wheel, exhausted and alone. At one point, we stopped at a rest area because Scarlett needed the restroom. I took her quickly, but when we came back, the car was gone. For a moment, I stood frozen, my mind unable to process what I was seeing. Frantically, I called Miles. No answer. I tried Stella next. You both were taking too long, she said, laughing as if it were nothing. What do you mean? I asked, my voice shaking. We left, she replied smugly. I felt the panic rise in my chest. We were only gone for a few minutes. This is what happens when you don't listen. Miles' voice cut in. You had no right to be on this trip anyway. I clenched my fists. Fine, but what about Scarlett? What about your daughter? She's just like you, he said bitterly. She's been too bold lately, talking back to mom when she criticizes you. She needs to learn some respect too. Scarlett tugged on my sleeve, her wide eyes full of worry. Mom, are you okay? Did Dad and Grandma leave us? She asked softly. I nodded, swallowing the lump in my throat. It looks like they did. They're so mean, aren't they? Yeah, I think so too, Scarlett murmured, deep in thought. Are we heading home now? I let out a long breath, feeling the weight of the moment. Looks like we are. But you were really excited about this trip. I was, I admitted, but only because you were coming with me. She gave me a small, reassuring smile. If you're going home, then I want to go too. Her words warmed my heart, and for the first time that day, I smiled. Then let's go on our own adventure, I suggested. Scarlett's face lit up with excitement. Adventure? Her enthusiasm was infectious, and I suddenly realized she was all I truly needed. I grabbed my phone and called my best friend, Violet, explaining everything. Without hesitation, she dropped everything and came to pick us up. As Scarlett and I climbed into her car, a wave of relief washed over me. Finally, someone who cared. Violet glanced at me as she drove. So, what's your next move? I took a deep breath and spoke with certainty. I'm filing for divorce. She nodded without missing a beat. Good, it's long overdue. You've put up with enough. I exhaled, feeling lighter already. Yeah, and I refuse to stay married to someone who doesn't think twice about abandoning his own daughter. When we got home, I didn't waste any time. I walked straight to the drawer where the divorce papers sat. Untouched for years, holding them now felt different, empowering. I signed my name without hesitation and had Violet sign as a witness. Ironically, my mother-in-law's signature was already there, unknowingly sealing the deal herself. Because of that, I was able to file the papers immediately, and for the first time in years, I felt like I was finally taking back control of my life. 3 days later, I had just dropped Scarlett off at kindergarten when my phone buzzed. My husband's name flashed on the screen. I knew this call was coming. The moment I answered, he exploded. Are you serious? Why didn't you pay for the hotel? I held the phone away from my ear, staying calm. Because you abandoned me, that's on you. Oh really? Then why is the bill $6,000? I smirked. Why don't you ask your mother? She's the one who demanded luxury. His voice dripped with entitlement. Get over here and pay it now. Not happening, I replied flatly. You and your mother enjoyed the trip without me. You can split the cost, $3,000 each. Silence. Then, suddenly, a sharp, unfamiliar voice spoke on the other end. You need to settle this bill immediately, or I'm calling the police. My husband scoffed. Relax, my wife will handle it. She's on her way. The woman's tone turned ice cold. Where is your wife now? At home, he said, confused. Interesting, she replied, because I looked up her address, and she's nowhere near this hotel. In fact, she was stranded at a service area, because you left her there. My husband stammered. What? Then came the real twist. And just so you know, she continued coolly, your wife and I go way back. I was the one who picked her up. I gave her a place to stay, but you're just another guest, and as a guest, you owe the full amount. That woman? She was Violet. The owner of the very hotel my husband and his mother had been enjoying. Back in high school, Violet had struggled with the pressure of taking over her family's business, but I had been there for her, cheering her on. She never forgot. Now, it was her turn to have my back. "Since you're just guests," she informed them coldly, "there will be no discounts. Pay up." My mother-in-law huffed and turned to my husband. "Just put it on your credit card for now, we'll make her pay us back later." My laughter was bitter. "He can't do that." Stella frowned. "What do you mean?" "Because your son only makes $1,200 a month. His credit card limit barely reaches $3,000. Her face drained of color. "Miles, is that true? You told me you had a great salary." My husband stood frozen, caught in his own web of lies. His job as a salesman wasn't going well, and without commissions, he barely scraped by. I crossed my arms. "And don't even think about touching your savings. That money is reserved for child support, alimony, and the divorce settlement." My husband's voice cracked. "What are you talking about?" "I filed for divorce," I said calmly. "You've been threatening me with it for years. I just made it official." "Wait," he stammered. "No," I cut him off. "I'm done waiting." Realizing he had no way out, Miles agreed to pay the hotel bill in installments. Moving forward, after that, I hired a lawyer and officially filed for full custody of Scarlett. My daughter and I moved back in with my parents, where she was surrounded by love. Meanwhile, my ex-husband's reckless spending and failure to plan ahead caught up with him. Worse, a senior executive at his company, who happened to be a regular at Violet's hotel, heard about his unpaid bill. The humiliation spread through his workplace, and his reputation plummeted. As for my mother-in-law, she had always assumed Miles would support her in her old age, but after learning the truth about his finances, she actually reached out to me, asking me to reconsider the divorce. The audacity. And my ex? He tried one last time to get me back. "Scarlett needs her father," he said. "We should give it another chance." I didn't hesitate. "Scarlett is doing just fine," I told him. "She's surrounded by people who love her. You were never there for her before, so what's changed?" He had no answer. After our divorce, Miles moved back in with his mother. His career continued to crumble, his ego taking hit after hit. Next weekend, I'm taking Scarlett back to Violet's hotel, this time for a trip we actually want. I've also started a new job, one that gives me stability and fulfillment. After years of being trapped in an unhappy marriage, I finally feel free. Some people say a child is better off with both parents, but that's not always true. What really matters is raising them in a home filled with happiness, love, and support. This divorce has taught me so much, and if there's one thing I'll always stand by, it's this. Scarlett comes first, always. It's funny how my ex had so much confidence despite everything. Sometimes, I wonder where it even came from. But it doesn't matter anymore. I'm confident in my decision to leave, and that's all that truly matters. I'm grateful for my daughter, I'm grateful for Violet, and together, we're building a new, peaceful life. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video, stay tuned.